Kashaizia Ilmi kanong aik tien jonga national BGP ha ka singi tho dieng kala ong bak budget aja pun rio kalong kum karut ma ka penlet jingmut ha kalenti ka jingpintri kam bat ka jingroi kala ong bakani kadi bynta jonga jingkala jongkari sha ka fixit Bharat kabla sedang nadu snam araja khatsao ha jinglet jongo baningkong jongka sham Meghalaya ka ilmi ka ong bak budget kam dei tang ka jingpynlut pisa hynrei ka peni ya ka jingthmu jngai na bynta kari kabala roi kala kadau ru ba ka penlet jingmut ha ka surok ka karkhana ka jingpuli bat jinghikai kam ka jingpenmi jingmut thamai bat ka jingsinsar ka makhut kam tam e ha ka than shatei lammi
members of the BJP, and it was actually a privilege when I was informed that I have to go to Shillong to address the media. I felt so delighted because I've been here in the past, but as a member of the party, as a senior member, this is my first visit, and I got a chance to meet a few members of the media yesterday also, and party, our president, our honorable minister, our chief spokesperson here, and members of the team in Meghalaya. It's a young team, it's a very vibrant team, it's a very dynamic team, and I wish them all the best for the future. So we are here. Secondly, I just wanted to say something about myself. I'm a member of the Legislative Council in Bihar. I'm also the in charge of the party for Mizoram. So Mizoram is another very beautiful state, and where the BJP is gradually spreading its wings. We have two MLAs in the state, but we are a growing party there in Mizoram. And budget publicity team, there's a 10-member team which has been formed by the central BJP. I'm a member of that team and given charge of the entire Northeast. So it's a privilege. It's feel absolutely delighted to be here. Uh, I'm just going to give a round budget as a philosophy, and every budget is a product of the time. So, there was a pandemic in between, and because of the specific situation, extraordinary situation, the government, because so many people were dying and so many people were getting affected, people's purchasing power, whatever savings they had, it was going down. So the government started so many welfare schemes, which I'm from Bihar, schemes like 5 kgs of ration every month to every, which is continuing, still continuing. It was so well appreciated by the people. When we go to the people, they have a special word of thanks for Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji for thinking of the scheme and continuing with it. So, and likewise, there were so many other schemes which were started during the pandemic. And during the pandemic, because purchasing power of private investors, it was all getting affected. So the government decided, apart from spending a lot of money on the welfare schemes, to enhance the capital expenditure. Capital expenditure is the expenditure incurred by the government on the creation of assets like roads, highways, uh, ports, buildings. So the capital expenditure, it has grown significantly since the pandemic. Uh, Last year, the revised estimate, capital expenditure estimate was 10.96 lakh crore. It has gone up to 12.22 lakh crore. And during, you would be surprised to know that this expenditure was only rupees 3.08 lakh crore in 2018-19. So you see the leap which capital expenditure has taken place. That is because private investment was not coming up because of a specific situation, also because of the slowdown, economic slowdown in the world. So the government have to come forward to help the people. That is why there was an increase in capital expenditure, and as compared to the last year, there has been a 11.5% increase in capital expenditure, which is significant, and other parts of the country. So this was one significant feature of the budget which took place after the pandemic. And continuing with the welfare schemes, our one of the founder ideologues of the party, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, he enunciated a concept called Antyodaya. And Antyodaya is that the last man in the queue, last man in the society, has to benefit from the government schemes. So the government is working on that philosophy that the last man standing in the queue should benefit from the uh, whatever measures the government is taking. Until there is one philosophy, guiding philosophy of the budget, and so because with that guiding philosophy, our finance minister spoke of three kartavyas, which which bind our union budget. One is to take on India on the road to prosperity. Second is to scale up the capacity of the people of India. And third is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, which means to give equal opportunities to all people of the society, all segments of the society. So, with this philosophy in mind, our Union Minister Dr. Nirmala Sitharaman enunciated the budget, and it also has other measures which all are, we take which follow from the guiding principles, the three kartavyas, like the push being given to the industrial sector, push being given to employment generation. There's so many measures which have been enunciated, which have been highlighted in the budget. The new age economy, data centers, artificial intelligence, pharmaceuticals, biochemicals, so biotech, all these new age economy. Our Prime Minister talks of Viksit Bharat, which is a developed India by 2047. And we cannot develop without competing with the rest of the world in the emerging technologies. So there's a significant push to emerging technologies, the employment generation, like I said, capital expenditure dedicated, seven new dedicated freight corridors. So all these would end up, the government thinks, and we hope so, I'm sure, will give a fillip to industrial sector, to empowerment of women, youth, and the farming sector, the farmers, the andatas, as our Prime Minister is so fond of saying, they are the ones who produce food for this philosophy. There's a significant portion which is devoted to the development of the Northeast, because our Prime Minister believes sincerely that India cannot grow until the Northeast of India grows. So he first talked of look east, and now he talks of the act east policy. So there are significant measures with respect to the Northeast, and with respect specifically to Meghalaya, which Honorable Member of the Press was inquiring about yesterday. Shazia ji would take us through all those measures. So I would request her to take us through all the measures which have been given for the development of Meghalaya. Thank you. Thank you so much.
When we discuss budget 2026, we're not talking about just arithmetic. We're not talking about allocations. For years and years, we've seen that. Here, we are looking at direction. We're looking at delivery. and we're looking at development. And that's the key of it all. Now, when you see the budget, obviously, as Deveshi pointed out, it's not in just isolation, right? It is a part of India's transformation journey, which began in 2014. And this is a trajectory, and we're working towards the idea of Viksit Bharat, from a developing nation to a developed nation. Viksit Bharat. And this journey continues. And we all are passengers, co travelers as part of this journey. Now, we've always had, there was so much leakage when it came to spending, when it came to outcomes, there was little to show. But we can see that this budget, like other budgets, is about growth with fiscal responsibility. Now, overall, when you talk about the budget, it's obvious, and I'm sure all of you know it. We've discussed it threadbare. Is the emphasis has been on infrastructure, very crucial to Meghalaya and to Northeast, manufacturing, skilling, innovation, and clean governance. So when we talk about Northeast, something significant has happened, and really, last 10 years, almost 11, we are looking at another vision altogether, strategy for Northeast, and the results are for all of us to see and savor. Now, as you all know, that the eight northeastern states together are 3% of India's GDP. But what is important is a trajectory. What are we working towards? We all know that the literacy rate of Northeast is much higher than the national average. We also know that the 85% of districts in all of Northeast are front runners on development indicators. So when you look at various indices on development, socio-economic, you realize that 85% of districts in Northeast, for the very first time, are really front runners and are way ahead. Look at the transformation that has happened since 14 years. And of course, we all know, and I think many of us are aware of it, and we savor and enjoy it, all the connectivity there is. So where there's real connectivity and investment overall in roadways, it's for all of us to see. 21,000 crores has been invested in education infrastructure in this whole region since 2014. Northeast today, we believe it is just not India's periphery, but it is very much a gateway to growth, trade, and opportunity. Let's come specifically to Meghalaya. My friends, I'm proud to say this, that the delivery and the outcomes have been wonderful, and it just shows the commitment of the center to Meghalaya state. So for Meghalaya itself, the 2014, the public expenditure was 6,811 crores, which has now increased fourfold, four times more, almost, to 23,476. Meghalaya state, I'm here, and I consider it my state also as part of my country. So it's an honor for me to say this, and you know it, that the state has recorded average double-digit growth over the areas, which is why it was very important for us to look at road connectivity. And I will tell you in terms of kilometrage, how much they have increased and what a huge jump there is in what the connectivity was and now. Agriculture, of course, is 22% of the state economy. And if you look at overall the budget 2026, it empowers Meghalaya through a higher tax devolution. And now we're looking at 9,600 crores given to the state, which is untied funds, specifically for states' development. So 9,600 crores specifically as untied funds, more flexibility, and of course, that means greater responsibility. What does that translate into? What does this 9,600 crores mean to a citizen of Meghalaya, to you and me, to every brother and sister of Meghalaya? Connectivity. We're looking at hill areas, feeder roads, and which is also and the digital backbone. Tourism as a year-round livelihood. I had the privilege and the pleasure to go to Doki, and I just saw how beautiful it was. Can you imagine how important it can be as an economy and as livelihood for our local brothers and sisters? So it just shouldn't be a seasonal income, but a year-long livelihood. Agri value addition, which means processing, branding, and exporting. Youth skilling and entrepreneurship, very, very important. So migration is a choice, it is not a compulsion. Friends, earlier budgets have failed, and I'm not blaming them. I'm not saying that they were wrong to do it or they did not plan it better. Intentions, I'm not saying were wrong, but the delivery systems were very weak. So, what at the center, what has been done under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi ji is that the delivery systems have become so much better and leakage free. So 2014, you all know, and I want to give a small perspective. It's important for us to give you the overall, the vision that we started with Jam Trinity, Jandhan Yojana, Aadhaar, and mobile telephony. Wherever I go in the interiors, and even whether it was a boatman or the chai wala, and I love the lal chai here, everybody had the UPI and I could pay through my phone. And I think that's huge because everybody is connected. So, if you look at overall in India, what the central welfare schemes have done, I will tell you how much there has been a transformation in terms of just the poor having access to the banking sector, financial inclusion. 56 crore Jandhan accounts. This is all over India. Direct benefit transfers, more than 52 crore of Mudra loans, and of course Swachh Bharat. You all know about it. More than 12 crore households have benefited. Now, and of course, Ayushman Yojana, Ayushman Bharat, 55 crore citizens. Now, let's come to Meghalaya. And in Meghalaya, I want to say this with a lot of joy that over 30 crore unorganized workers are now registered on the e-Shram portal. And more than half are women. And where the Ayushman cards are concerned, in Meghalaya itself, 21.4 lakh Ayushman cards have been created. And when it comes to PM Kisan Samman Yojana, you all know about it. How every annadata, every farmer, and a producer is given an honorable amount as honorarium amount. That the number is huge, and that is 1,50,413. So those many farmers have got the Samman Yojana, the benefit of which, because of which, on a yearly basis, they get that honorarium, that amount, which helps them. PM Jandhan Yojana, 9 lakh and more than 9 lakhs, the number has gone up. These are slightly dated figures. So more than 9 lakh beneficiaries of Jandhan Yojana are in Meghalaya. Let's look at Ujjwala Yojana. This is amazing. We know how people suffered, and sometimes here also I see using the older chulas. But now there are more than 3,16,157 beneficiaries and families and mothers and sisters who benefit from Ujjwala Yojana. हर घर जल, हर घर नल, हर घर नल से जल. 5.2 lakh rural households have benefited from the central welfare schemes, all created and envisaged by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his team. When it comes to Awas Yojana, let's look at the urban numbers. And we look at urban numbers, there have been 4,554 eligible and sanctioned beneficiaries. And as I told you, the Mudra Yojana, 14,000 people in Meghalaya have benefited from Mudra Yojana, and 186 crore rupees have been sanctioned under Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana to support small entrepreneurs and self-employed individuals and citizens of Meghalaya. Now let's look at connectivity, something very important and crucial to Meghalaya's development. Bharatmala Pariyojana corridors, development of 170 kilometers of national highways in Meghalaya with sanction cost of 2,703 crores to improve connectivity in the state. Let's look at now Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, very important. Now look at this, the rural roadways. Now the 88 rural roads totaling of 782 kilometers and 55 bridges to strengthen the rural. And it's already been sanctioned. It is in Tura. Foundation stone has been laid under central support. Fulbari Bridge, one of India's longest it will be. It will significantly transform Meghalaya's access to markets and trade routes. So Meghalaya right now has two Swadesh Darpan projects sanctioned under the scheme overall. Total amount that has been sanctioned is 184 crores, a little more than that rupees. out of which all the amount has already been released and utilized is also quite a bit, which is 176 crores, so to speak. Now, this reflects the central funding flow towards tourism and the commitment the center has towards Meghalaya development under Swadesh Darshan for the state. So when we look at the entire Northeast circuit, you see how many projects have been there. When you look at tourism infrastructure of Umiam Lake and nearby circuits, traditional healing, tribal rejuvenation centers, tourist information centers, multi-purpose hall, gift shops, souvenir shops, water spots, trekking routes, canopy walks, last mile connectivity, human impact. We all know that women are at the center of development all over India, more so in Meghalaya. And so all the schemes that have been there are women-centric development oriented. More Jandhan accounts are held by women. Housing owner increasingly ownership in economic empowerment. A Viksit Bharat, as we know, is impossible without economically empowered women. Friends, yesterday as I went ahead and enjoyed my long, interesting journey to Doki, I was chatting with my friend Suzuki here, took me around. Thank you so much for that. It was wonderful. There was this very bright, vibrant boat means so much to me. And I have so much more to say about it. But with that, the lasting memory of that wonderful smile and hope expressed by that boatman in Doki, I would like to conclude.
This while taking one important factor in mind that if you spend a lot, then it means people's purchasing power is going up. So it means it will give an impetus to inflation. To keep the inflationary trends in control, we also have this concept of fiscal responsibility, which Shazia ji spoke about. So, if you look at the fiscal deficit figures, which is the difference between the revenues and the expenditure, you will be so happy to know that the fiscal deficit figures, the target was 4.3%, and we have been able to achieve that, which means inflationary trends have been kept in control. People's lives, there's an ease of living, and the hardships which would have followed, they and giving fillip to the lives of the common man. Thank you so much.
Should apply. And when they do, there'll be no discrimination on any basis whatsoever. And they will more and more people will avail. So we encourage more and more people, especially in the backward areas, to come forth and give their names and ask for inclusion in the central welfare schemes.
It is nobody's case that there is no leakage. We are not claiming that. But they have been minimized. Now, whatever funds are released through DBT, it goes directly to the accounts of the people, beneficiaries. And we have data on beneficiaries. She has enough data on the beneficiaries for particular schemes in Meghalaya.
Our case has been registered, arrests have been made. In fact, the government has set up a commission of inquiry also. And let's look at the terms of reference of the commission of inquiry, because ultimately it all depends on the term of reference. And if needed, that, it's not only about getting to know about the incident, how it happened, but I think so as members of the public, we would like to know what is the people involved behind all this kind of, I should say it's an open illegality which is happening. We have never denied it. Government has ultimately come up and admitted that these things have happened, and I think so. It's fair for us to wait for the investigation of the government to complete, the police to complete. That happens. What is the more important is what action has been taken by the government.
Yeah.
That is more important than quitting. So government has taken action, and let's wait for the outcome of the whatever the government is taking up. So let's hear.
And it has proved to be a boom, done with the help of the local population. So the moment we feel that the local population is up for it, you'll get it. We are more than willing. There are just three states in the northeast where there is no rail connectivity, but it has to be with the help of the common people, of the local people.
And you know, we
To check, plug the leakages. The leakages will stop completely. But we are working in that direction. You would agree that leakages which were there earlier, on it, the late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi used to say that
yes.
we give 100 rupees to the state and only 15% of it reaches the. So he was lamenting about the leakages. The leakages have, I'm not saying they have gone completely or they have disappeared completely, but with the help of DBT, you know, funds which are allocated, they are reaching the people directly without any paisa being pilfered in between. So I'm sure, धीरे धीरे with the use of technology in the days to come, this will go away completely. But someday, sure, I'm sure, and we would work in that direction.
I want to